This is Julie Koon, and today I'm speaking with Robert Robbins on behalf of the Coalition of Rainbow Alliances of Central Illinois' LGBTQ plus Historical Interview Project. Welcome, Robert. How are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good today.
Awesome. Well, I'm going to jump right in and
Hit it.
ask you about your younger years and when you first questioned your sexuality.
Well, I questioned my sexuality when I was like 8, 9 years old.
And what was that like for an 8 and 9-year-old during that time?
I just, nothing, because I lived in a small town.
So you kept it to yourself?
Oh yeah, I didn't bring it out until I was like 18, 19 years old, back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
And then you had to be careful when somebody would throw stuff at you if they knew you were gay. Call you nasty names walking down the street.
In fear of
They'd
violence.
They'd even walk by your table at dinner in a restaurant and call you bad names
And it was
while you were sitting there eating. Yeah,
And that's awful.
it was terrible. It was terrible. I just ignored them.
How much of that do you think affected you in the rest of your life as you grew older?
Well, no, I guess I just thought, well, they're doing it to me, they're doing it to other people, so just ignore them.
That's a great attitude.
It is.
Some
But
people
there's nothing
couldn't
you
do
can
that.
There's nothing you can do about it.
Mm-hmm. Nothing you can do.
Yeah,
about it.
you can't change their mind. They're the one that has to change their mind.
Right.
Just be kind.
Oh my gosh, that's so heartfelt.
That's true. That's all you can do.
Well, Robert, would you share something with us about when you came out and how that affected your life at the time?
Well, it made my life feel better. It made me feel more like me, and I was able to have more fun with people because I was around people who were just like me.
Right.
So that made life a lot easier because you picked up friends real fast, and you just hung with your friends instead of with straight people.
Did you feel like they were just friends, or did it feel more like you had a new family?
It was like a new family.
I know that in the book Life on the Levee,
Yes,
which
because I lived on there for years.
yes, it took place in Springfield, Illinois.
Yes.
That y'all used to call each other kids.
Yeah.
The kids.
Yes.
Meet up with the kids.
Yes.
And that kind of connotates a more family type relationship.
Relationship. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. When you came out, was there an outlet other than just being with your friends to be yourself?
Oh yeah. I was always myself, no matter what.
Great guy, huh?
Yeah, but I've always been myself. But just like I said, when they walked by and say nasty things to you, I just looked at them and went back to eating.
Yeah. Well, maybe when they didn't get a response from you,
Yeah.
it was no fun anymore.
Yeah, because I acted like I didn't know who they were talking to.
Oh my gosh, that's wonderful. It's terrible and wonderful all at the
Same time.
So, how much of your life did you have to be closeted? Or as you said, you
not
just
a whole lot.
were yourself.
Yeah, I was just myself. Not a whole lot at all.
And you came from a smaller town than Springfield?
Oh yeah, I came from a little town called Sawyerville, 350 people.
Where everyone knows your business.
Yes. But I didn't have no business.
There you go, being funny again.
Yeah. I did.
So when did you figure out that it was time for you to move on from that hometown?
when I was 18.
So,
Because I got a job. My mother was a good friend with one of the senators, and he helped get me a job at the state, and I moved up here and worked for the state, then started going to beauty school. And then whenever I got my license, I started working as a hairdresser.
so you really do what you love to do,
Exactly.
regardless.
Since I was 10 years old.
That's wonderful.
If you go back to my files in grade school, probably from 9, 10 years old, I always wrote down that they always said, what do you want to be when you grow up? I always put down hairdresser.
Oh, that's cool.
That way back, and that's why to this day I can understand people been in college 4 years and don't know what they want to be.
Yeah.
That's because they're privileged.
Well, many times that happens.
Over. Because mommy and daddy gives them the money all the time. Well, my father was dead and my mother wasn't working, and she had 14 children, so I had to go to work.
So, maybe we could talk about your family a little bit, your mother and your siblings. Did your mother know about your sexuality?
Yeah, because I remember when I was in, second, third or fourth grade, when we moved to Sawyerville, my mother said, see that man over there in that White House? He likes little boys, so you stay away from him.
Oh, no. So you weren't exactly afraid of that.
No, not at all.
And what about your siblings?
Well, they all tried. In fact, whenever my brother was, they was throwing him a party. I can't remember if he's coming home or he was going to be in the Army. So they threw him a big party. And you'll get a big kick out of this. And they already knew about it because my one brother was gay too, and nobody knew about him yet either. And I said, Ricky, did you tell Mom about me? He says, yeah, she told me you were a lesbian.
Oh, golly.
I said, no, I'm gay. A lesbian is a woman. I said, I'm gay. So I had a boyfriend with me, so I took him over to my mom and I said, Mom, this is so-and-so, this is my lover. And she took her hand and shook his hand. She said, well, nice to meet you. Welcome to the family. The more the merrier.
Wonderful.
That's exactly what she told him. She says, hi, nice to meet you. Welcome to the family. The more the merrier.
Now I know where you get your big heart from.
Yes, my father would have done the same thing, I'm sure.
That is just wonderful.
Yeah.
Just wonderful. So, coming to a bigger city like Springfield.
It was a big city compared to where I was.
Yes, a big city. How did those first years go working for the state?
Well, they were fun because I worked at night.
You worked at night.
Yeah, I worked at night, mostly at night.
And you were around a group of accepting people, and you were just...
yeah.
Oh, I am so happy
luck.
for you.
Yeah, that was luck.
Yeah. Did you make any really good friends
Oh yeah,
from that
a lot
experience?
of them has passed on.
Yeah.
Already, yeah.
Well, you wanted to be a hairdresser,
And I am.
and you went to cosmetology school. Did you catch on to everything as fast as you thought you would? Were you an innovator?
Well, yeah. Yeah, because my hairstyling instructor wanted me to go to someone over in Champaign and work under her for a while. Let her be my teacher from there on, but I didn't do it. But then all the older girls just had, when we were doing fashion, all the girls just had to do one, and I had to do two. But she said she did that because she knew I was good at what I was doing.
Oh my.
Because I started doing people's hair at 9 and 10 years old.
So you were doing hair before you were even a teenager?
Yeah, when I was about 11, 12. Yeah, the neighbors, they would set their hair, and then I'd go over and then take the rollers out, and I'd comb their hair out.
Oh, how nice.
Yeah. And I did a lot of the girls' hair for the proms, or if they had a special occasion to go to.
Now, did they just think that you liked to do that, or you were so good at it, or did they know that you were gay?
Well, they never said nothing about that.
Never said a word.
Never mentioned a word. Well, it was a little backwards town.
Mm-hmm.
There was 5 sets of twins in that town. 350 people and 5 sets of twins were there.
So they pretty much took life as it came,
Yes.
and didn't question. Just
Yeah, because it was such a small town.
Yeah. That would have been a very interesting childhood.
Yeah, it was.
So when you finished school, you were asked to go work underneath of someone.
My hair color instructor.
Okay.
Some friends of hers opened up a beauty shop, and she called me down at the beauty school and asked me if I'd come work for her. And I said I'd love to, so that's where I went. I didn't have to look for a job. She already had a job waiting on me.
Wonderful.
Yes.
Just great.
Yes. Just kind of fell right into stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's the way it was supposed to be.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you knew that's what you wanted.
Exactly.
So, in the years that you were a cosmetologist,
51.
oh my goodness, not many can say that.
No, they can't.
Not many.
Most of them retired. The only reason I retired is because of this. Otherwise, I'd still be working.
And I'm sure you had many loyal customers. Do you know about?
Oh, yeah.
It would change
Very
probably
loyal.
as time went on, but what was your longest that you served a
For
customer?
40, 50 years.
40, 50 years. So I guess you
And
saw
then they
some
passed
come and
on.
go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, not some, lots.
Lots of them.
Yeah, lots of them.
What was your most enjoyable
Thing to do.
that happened during that time
Like
that
what?
that you were a cosmetologist?
Like what?
Did anything special
No.
that comes to mind, or it
I
was
didn't
all
even know
fun?
because I hardly ever took vacation.
That's something.
This last time it was 14 years. I went 14 years without a vacation. I didn't take no time off at all. I'd take a Saturday off once in a while, but not very often. Very, 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 very seldom.
And how many hours a day would you work?
Well, when I was younger, we'd go in at 8 o'clock, and 11 o'clock we were still there at night. You had to do that to build a following. So we did that lots and lots and lots and lots of times.
What was the competition like back then? Was it?
I didn't think there was any competition because I always had a flow of people.
So there,
Once I started building up my clientele,
yeah,
yeah.
no rivalries between
Nah.
salons
Oh,
or.
no.
Well, that's good. Boy, you have a blessed life.
Yeah, pretty good.
Yeah. And we talked a little bit earlier about life on the levee. Where was the levee area?
The levee area was from, okay, let's see, what street was that? Adams Street, all the way up to Mason, on 5th and 6th Street both.
Oh,
That was all the levee.
I knew Fifth
They had
Street.
gobs and gobs and gobs and gobs of bars. Up and down the streets and on the side streets and everything. Yeah, and so we all ran around with all the hookers.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they teach you a lot too about stuff.
About how to take care of yourself on the
Oh,
streets.
well, everybody watched over everybody. It was like a family.
That's wonderful.
Oh yeah, because sometimes some of them would come up to my apartment for me to do their hair, comb their hair out, or put a wiglet in or something. Yeah,
What an
we had a
amazing-
good time. A lot of times we'd all gather at one another's apartment on Sunday morning for lunch. Yeah, we had a lot of fun. lot of fun.
And I know, I think that you, one of your apartments was above Smokies.
No,
You did not have.
it was above a place called the Antique Shop.
Oh, the antique shop.
Yeah, which was right off the corner of Jefferson and 5th Street.
Right in the middle of things.
Right in the middle of things. And the guys that owned it loved it because we lived above it, and they knew nobody would be trying to break in. So we got along excellent with them.
So, who, you keep saying we,
Well,
were there
my roommates, I had several roommates.
just different people
Yeah.
at different times?
And I took in gobs and gobs of people in off the street, me and my brother. Because back then, when the parent found out that their child was gay, they threw him out.
Yeah.
They
so
wouldn't
sad.
do nothing, just throw him out on the street, didn't do nothing for him. So I took him in and helped him, and they were able to find a job, and a lot of them have come back over the years and thanked me for that, for letting them stay with me and trying to help them find a job and stuff.
I mean,
So that was fun. And then my one friend, Lynn, used to always say, Robert, they need to give you a trophy for what you've done to the city, for you taking all those people in and getting them jobs and getting them back on their feet. She says, people don't realize how good you've been to these people.
you were like a social worker,
Yeah, pretty much.
but much more.
Yeah, because I fed them and everything, and I wasn't making that much money at that time. I worked in a little bitty tiny beauty shop.
So I want
And
to
the money-
thank you
and the
for the
money was the-
community.
yeah.
Yes.
And the money, and back then it was cheap hairdressing.
Mhm.
$2.50 for a shampoo and set. Now it's $25. That's a big difference.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, but I took good care of them,
Good for
and
you.
they all came back and thanked me for it. But if it hadn't been for you, I wouldn't be where I am today.
That is just
And that's
wonderful.
always been right here in my heart for them saying that.
Yeah, I mean, it almost
Making
makes me
making
want to
feel good.
cry.
Yeah, it makes me feel good about it.
You
Yeah,
should.
took good care of them.
And there are many other outcomes that they could have experienced.
Yes, there
But
is.
none of them good,
Yes, and with me it was fine.
and everybody knew they
And
could trust you.
surprisingly, none of them had to live with me very long. But people just liked it. I mean, my friends liked staying overnight at my apartment. I had a huge apartment. I had these two girls. Oh God, I just love them both. They were like sisters. They had their own apartment, but they'd only go to their apartment only maybe once every 3 weeks. The rest of the time they stayed at my house.
Oh my gosh.
Because we were like family.
Yeah, you didn't even want to see them go.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. Because they were part of it.
And
Part
do
of
you
the
remember
house.
who they were?
What?
Do you remember who they were?
Oh yeah, Lori Pickle and Pammy Sue, Father Weed.
That's to this day.
And the one they moved to California in the early 70s, and then about 30 years ago, Pammy Sue and a couple of friends moved back
Mm-hmm.
from California, and Laurie's still out there.
Yeah.
And they followed me around all the time.
Well, they
Huh?
probably got to meet the best of the best if they
Oh, yeah.
followed you around.
Yeah, probably. And who was it? Candy. Candy said she's so glad that she got to do this because she's met so many nice people that she would have never met if it hadn't been for me being sick.
Oh. Candy is your nurse.
No.
No?
Well, she's a nurse. She was my nurse, but she's not a nurse. She came and stayed here for almost a year with me. But there was other people too, but morning, night. Yeah, because it was getting to be too much for her, just day in and day out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it doesn't sound like you were lacking anyone who cared about you.
Oh, no.
You always had someone ready to be there for you. And that's kind of like it proves the life that you led.
Yes.
Because
exactly.
you were always there for other people.
Yes.
And for someone to have lived that life and have all those things to be proud of.
Yes.
I
sure.
love that. So we talked about your hobbies earlier, and you said you didn't have any because you worked too much.
Well, I worked too much, and then I was a female impersonator.
Ah.
Yeah, and so I worked during the week, and then Saturday and Sunday I did female impersonation shows.
And did you enjoy that a lot?
I loved it, yeah. I loved it just as much as I loved doing hair.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yes.
And was it just the fact that you were able to style yourself however you...
Well, that too, yeah. I just did whatever I wanted to. And as you can see, my hair was long, so it was a little long down to here, and it was my hair. And I would put electric rollers and have it a little bouncy and pretty.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah.
And you did that for how many years?
13, 14 years.
13 to 14 years. Were there a lot of places in Springfield that you could be in a show, or did you go to other cities?
2 other bars that did it, but I just did it with, I was a smokette after Smokey's place, so I only go if they asked me to do a special guest. But they usually didn't do that too much because they didn't want the other bar to be mad.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So did you start once Smokey's put up their stage?
I helped walk over to a lumber yard right down the street from Smokey's and carried all the lumber to her bar so they could build the stage. And then there was 4 people before me because I did the sound system. And then as those girls separated and went to St. Louis, she started a whole new group. And the first set was called the Smokettes, and the one I was in was called the Denettes. Smokey's Den.
Yeah. That's so cute.
Yeah. I had people come from St. Louis. I had people come from up by Chicago just to come down and watch me.
Wow.
Because I said, these people from over there sent you the streak, so I went over and talked to them and asked them where they were, and they said they were from up by Chicago. I said, what are you doing down here? So we come down to see you. We come down every once in a while to see you.
So you are famous in your own right.
Yeah. Don't be jealous.
So, Robert, is there anything else, any other stories that stick out in your mind about that time? We covered a lot.
Yeah, we covered a lot. No, not really. I can probably speak on and on, but no.
Yeah. What was the most important thing to you during that time?
Me.
You. Oh. Well,
Me.
you couldn't have done all that good
Well,
work.
if it wasn't for me, that's
Yeah,
right.
That's right.
Touché.
Well, let's talk about a love in your life. Have you ever had a great love in your life?
Oh, I think I have a couple of them, but I'm not sure they were greater at all. They were, I never did get it, but A lot of them would be with me for a year and a half. And then all of a sudden, they decided they wanted to call it quits. And I said, why? They said, because I'm not good enough for you.
Oh
I go, what do you mean you're not good enough for me? And they never had an answer. They just said they weren't good enough for me.
my. Well, in your mind, what did you think they meant?
I had no idea.
No idea.
What would you think if somebody came up there and said that? I can't be your friend no more because I'm not good enough for you.
Yeah, you would have to be the type of person who thought a lot of themselves, and that's just not you.
Yes.
So, what would you think?
Well, I've thought and never have figured it out. So I have no idea.
But you had love in your life, so you experienced it.
Yes, lots of it.
And you had many friends.
Yes, many. Lots and lots of them.
During the time when AIDS was taking a lot of good people, of great people,
Yes.
did you have a lot of friends that
I happen to, yes, lots.
that were taken?
Way over 100.
Now see, that is just
Yeah, way over 100.
so sad.
I know it.
During that time, could you see where the missteps of the healthcare system or the government were?
Yes.
I mean, were there things that could have been done quicker or sooner?
Or should have been.
Yeah, or should have been done. Yeah. It was a terrible time. Well, is there anything else that you can think of that you want to share about your life?
I didn't think of anything else.
Well, I sure have enjoyed talking with you, Robert.
Well, thank you, dear. Me too.
You're a wonderful person.
Oh, thank you. I think so.
I appreciate your time, and I hope you enjoy watching this video and later on.
I do. I hope I do too. I'm sure I will.